greatest fights of all time, in every fight that's ever happened. But you look at those two separately, and you know, it wasn't their night tonight, and it wasn't an exciting fight.
Thought I would win against Anthony, but here I am with a broken jaw, learning the hard way. I'll heal.
What just happened? What you just saw was, yes, Jake Paul finding out there's levels to this game. Yes, Anthony Joshua not having the greatest performance of all time, but him doing exactly what he had to do, what he needed to do for boxing, what he needed to do for himself.
The internet exploded the moment Jake Paul hit the canvas in his long-rumored fight with Anthony Joshua. All eyes immediately turned to Dana White, the UFC boss, who has long called Paul a manufactured boxer, didn't need to say much. From a knowing smirk to blunt comments, his reaction said it all. For many, this was the moment elite heavyweight power finally crushed YouTube hype, turning Jake Paul's bravado into a harsh lesson watched by millions.
That calf kick, you know, the whole first round, he couldn't have had a better first round, and then he got caught.
Do you feel it's one of those things where, like, he got caught, or is it one of those things where Hangman age might be catching up to him, he might be slowing down? Which one do you think it could be?
After Anthony Joshua stopped Jake Paul in the 6th round of their heavyweight fight, the combat sports world went into overdrive. Paul was sent to the hospital with a broken jaw and multiple fractures. The injury was serious enough that he needed surgery, including titanium plates and dental work. The damage made it clear just how dangerous the matchup really was.
For my own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said.
It wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his...
Yeah, it's a professional boxing.
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it... I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do, and I think he would struggle to do that.
But I think when I was reading, he got 5.6 or...
Scans and X-rays later confirmed that Paul's jaw was broken in 2 places, a severe injury often called a double fracture. After the fight, Jake drove himself to the hospital, where doctors confirmed the diagnosis. Recovery was expected to take around 4 to 6 weeks. Paul shared the X-rays online, confirmed the fractures, and thanked fans for their support. Dana White had already called the fight a bad idea before it happened, and many felt Joshua's knockout proved his point. White even joked that people tuned in hoping to see Paul finally get stopped, reinforcing his long-held doubts about Jake at the top level of boxing.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people will watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get...
Some analysts described the entire build-up as a Tom and Jerry show, saying the outcome was inevitable from the start. Jake Paul played the loud provocateur for months, while Anthony Joshua stayed quiet, calm, and calculated. Once the bell rang, the comedy ended quickly. Joshua's power, timing, and ring IQ overwhelmed Paul. The knockout shocked casual fans, but serious boxing analysts were not surprised at all.
Oh man, great performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome, I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times?
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
The Ngannou, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake?
For the fight, legendary trainer Teddy Atlas surprised fans by outlining a possible path for Jake Paul to pull off an upset. Atlas stressed that styles make fights. He suggested Paul could use movement, faster feet, and constant lateral motion to frustrate Joshua. Atlas said Jake's best chance was to stay evasive, steal rounds, and land a surprise right hand if Joshua overcommit. It wouldn't be pretty, but Atlas believed that kind of game plan was Paul's only realistic shot.
About news that broke out, and it's someone that you've always shown respect to, and I've asked you these questions before about Jake Paul. We had a surprise announcement just the other day about him and Anthony Joshua. What was your reaction when you saw that announcement? It shocked a lot of people in boxing. What did you make of that? Or what do you make
Jake
of that?
hasn't made too many mistakes so far. So it got my attention. It got Teddy's attention. He's been growing. He's been growing in the ring. He's been growing outside the ring. He's been growing in confidence. I think that in the Canelo situation, that didn't happen. He was ready to do that. I think if anything else, if nothing else, he's showing you that he truly is believing in himself. And that, he's been a work in progress. He still is. And he's showing you, he's putting his money where his mouth is. Everyone's calling for him to do this, to do that. And, he's always had the advantage with guys that weren't real fighters. They were fighters, they were older fighters, they were MMA fighters, they were this, they were that. They were smaller, they were older. Now he's taking a guy that's bigger, older, but bigger. A real, can't debate if he's a fighter. 2-time heavyweight champ. Coming off, but he's a smart son of a gun. He's a gutsy son of a... I always stood up for him because everyone was saying he was hurting the sport. He wasn't hurting the sport. In some ways, he was bringing interest in a different way to the sport. But
The fight, promoted as Judgment Day, was scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds at heavyweight. Joshua entered as a heavy favorite due to his experience, height at 6 feet 6 inches, and size advantage. He weighed around 243 pounds compared to Paul's 216. After cautious early rounds, Joshua took control. He dropped Paul multiple times in the 5th round and finished the fight early in the 6th at 131. A crushing right hand sent Paul to the canvas and forced the referee to stop the bout.